Hello to everyone out there. My name is Dr. Ijeoma Nodim Opara, and this is a live broadcast. So, honey, lots of mistakes are about to be made, but there will be no editing, and that's okay because one of the hats that I wear is that I am a recovering perfectionist. So, this is a great experience and opportunity for me to really play with that, really grow in that, shall we say. And so let me tell you a bit of myself and why this video on today, this OparaSpeaks Blackboard moment, so to speak. And so again, my name is Ijeoma Nodim Opara. Ijeoma means safe journey, by the way. It's Igbo from Nigeria, West Africa. Best country and best continent ever. And so my background is that I am a double board certified physician in internal medicine and pediatrics. I'm also a triple board certified GSD expert. GSD stands for Getting Stuff Done. Getting stuff done, shall we say. Okay, I think that's very critical. Um, it's also important for this conversation for you to know that I am CEO of OparaSpeaks. I'm also host and creator of hashtag AimArt, which stands for the Anti-Racism in Medicine Action Roundtable, hosted on Twitter Space and now on YouTube Live on this channel. And by the way, speaking of this channel, I want to ask you to do me a solid and click on subscribe and hit the notifications button so that you are notified every time we come on with outstanding content. And what is that content? What can you expect from this channel? Well, my mission and purpose in life, and I do believe that we all have a mission and a purpose and an assignment given to us by our creator, whatever your belief is. But my purpose in life is to dismantle the delusional systems of white supremacy and white supremacism and anti-blackness in the fields of medicine, healthcare, and public health. And I do that in several ways. I do that as a medical educator, as well as a clinician and physician, as a mentor, as a professor in the School of Medicine where I work. I do that in my research, in policy work, in advocacy and activism. And I think that is very critical. All right. If we are to truly eliminate health disparities, the differential outcomes that are preventable amongst different populations, specifically as it relates to the disproportionate health disease burden in Black populations, we must name the root cause, which is white supremacy, which is anti-Blackness. We must name it, we must uproot it, dismantle it, and then create a better system in which everybody thrives. When we prioritize the most marginalized, the most vulnerable of us as the human family, when we prioritize them, everybody else benefits. That is how it works. It's always worked that way and will continue to work that way. And so I think it's important for you also to know a little bit about me and in this purpose, in this mission that I have. I work to help folks who are passionate to do the same, to share my same purpose, right? To are passionate and driven, wake up in the morning wanting to be the change they want to see, wanting to institute change to build equitable and just anti-racist and anti-oppressive environments and conditions and systems within their institutions and organizations. And so as CEO of OparaSpeaks, that is what we do, is we help those people do the transformative work. We help them to get unstuck because so many folks, what we've come to realize that have that passion and interest, but they don't know how to start and how to begin, what to do, what is out there, how do I get organized and how do I achieve the goals that I want to see in my life, and certainly in my institutional organization. Well, at OparaSpeaks, through coaching and consulting, through moderating and hosting, facilitating, we are able to help folks to do that and see those results in their lives as well as in their work. We also work with and help organizations to also build those environments of equity and justice so that all of their folks can thrive and they can better achieve their bottom line, because isn't that the bottom line? Mm-hmm. And so at Opara Speaks, that is what we do. And we're very proud to say that we've helped such an amazing cadre of people, a large number of folks to do outstanding, amazing things to make this world better for you and I, this planet better for you and I. And so through the, shall I say, magic, the Black Girl magic of Opara Solutions, which is our unique and innovative system within Opara Speaks that we use to help our people and our organizations, our leaders and our institutions to experience this transformation. We take our folks, our clients, who we like to call really our co-leaders and co-liberators, through this 7-step system to begin to experience that transformative reality in their life and their work. And what I want to do right now is to sort of talk about 3 tips for that first key or that first step within Opara Solutions system. And so it's so important that we name these things so that we can better utilize them as the tools to achieve the goals we want to achieve if we truly want to build anti-racist, anti-oppressive institutions and environments and systems so that our employees, our staff, our learners, students, all living things within our environment can what? Thrive. It is so critical. We are not going to make a difference in the world until we are able to put forth those evidence-based strategies to achieve this goal. And so it's a 7-step process, but the 1 step we'll talk about today in this video, on this Blackboard moment, shall we say, where we sort of share the important lessons that we've learned and we've experienced, and we talk about what has worked and what hasn't worked, because I believe that failure is simply just success by another name, right? It is simply an experience teaching us how to be better. And so on this channel, during our OparaSpeaks Blackboard moments, we will also talk about where we've made mistakes and seen mistakes made and those pitfalls, so we can avoid them. You can avoid them as you grow in your journey as an anti-racist leader, as someone who names anti-Blackness specifically to dismantle uprooted so that we can build a better world. So the first key we'll talk about that is within our Opara Solution systems, which we walk our clients through, our co-liberators, our co-leaders through, is the key of knowing who you are, right? We cannot expect to lead externally if we cannot lead internally first. If you don't know who you are, why you do what you do, how are you going to exert change outside of you? The change has to begin from within. And so knowing who one is very critical. So the mindset work is really critical as foundational to the leadership work that you go forth to do in terms of your anti-racist journey, in terms of your anti-racist leadership. Okay. And so 3 keys to the mindset shift to knowing who you are and your identity and your why for doing this work is: number 1, you want to understand your history. You want to understand how you came to be, your lineage. You want to ground yourself in that. See, I am Ijeoma Nodim Opara. I'm also Ada, the first daughter in an Igbo family that is blessed with that title, right? My mother is Ngozi Nodem. My father is Joseph Ogbonna Ahamefula Nodem. a physician, a scientist, and my mother an educator, as well as a counselor and a community leader. We are Igbo of Nigeria, West Africa, and we are proud people who know who we are, why we are, and where we're going. It is important to know that, my hometown, paternal hometown is Owerri. And my mother hometown is Amweni in Imo State. I was born in Benin City, in University of Benin Teaching Hospital. Migrated here as an immigrant at age 14. Went to the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. Went to Wayne State University School of Medicine for medical school. Stayed there. Trained as an internal medicine pediatric physician in primary care. I started to demonstrate and express my calling, which was in health justice and anti-racism, and bringing about health equity by naming anti-Blackness and really focusing on uplifting the health and well-being and wealth of Black peoples throughout the diaspora. Knowing who you are, why you are, where you come from, and your lineage is so critical to ground yourself so that you are strengthened and internally resourced in order to move forward. The second key to that mindset shift, shall we say, is leaning on community. But to lean on community, you need to be able to identify your community. Who is your tribe? Who is your village? Who is your community? Identify your community and lean on them. Who are your people? And there are various definitions for that. They are your biological people, your family, all right? But they are chosen people too. Your friends and colleagues, the people that do the same work as you. Your people, your community, your tribe, your village could be right there where you are in your institution, or it could be across the seas in different states or city or towns or even countries. That's okay. For a long time prior to 2020, I thought I was alone. And many times I was made to feel like I was crazy talking about social determinants of health and health equity and structural and systemic and institutional and interpersonal racism and oppression that is intersectional with other systems of oppression and violence and harm, such as ableism and patriarchy and heteronormativity and the list goes on, and xenophobia, right? I thought that I was the only one saying this. And well, I knew I wasn't the only one saying this because, again, we stand on the shoulders of ancestors that come before us. But I didn't know who my people were. And I was the only person that I knew in medicine talking about these things in Detroit. And it was so lonely. And oftentimes I would really feel the weight and the burden. Then comes the panini, right? The Rona hits us 2020. And that's another story I'll tell you for another time, all that went down with that. But what it did is by shutting down, the internet opened up, didn't it? Wider even. And as a result of participating on social media, Clubhouse and Twitter, and then as Twitter Space came to be, I started to discover other people doing the same work as me, saying the same things. I started to read articles as co-scholars and co-scientists, Black folks and brown folks were writing the things that I thought about and wrote about but didn't think was valid. Know your people, discover them, and then stick close to them. And again, as a recovering perfectionist, no, it's not going to be perfect. But that's okay. That's humanity. Learning how to work with others and focus on their strengths and assets and the contributions they bring to the table, and not getting so much distracted and worried about their challenges or yours. The grace that you offer to yourself, offering to others, is very critical to building a strong community, because none of us are perfect. And I say that because oftentimes in spaces, there can be tension and friction and disagreement. But the emotional and spiritual maturity of recognizing that that's just part of being human, and learning the tools for conflict resolution and giving space for our collective humanity and allowing us the grace to not be perfect, I think is very critical in the work that we do, in the liberation that we aspire to. And so I say all that to say, know your community and lean on them. When I discovered fellow Black folks in medicine and healthcare speaking the things I speak about and talking about things I talk about, honey, it was like coming home. And we didn't always agree, but the relationship was so critical, was so key. And that stayed vital and continues to stay vital even today as we continue to support each other and lift each other up during dark times and celebrate with each other during amazing times. So it's so important to discover your community wherever they may be in the world. And the internet has opened up the world to us. So you don't have to be restricted because, especially since many of us are the only people in our respective institutions, or we're one of two or one of three. Number three, key to that mindset shift is that understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint. So you got to take care of yourself. Audre Lorde said that self-care is what? Revolutionary. It is so important that we take care of ourselves. And taking care of ourselves can include mani-pedis and spa visits and massages, absolutely, and shopping for nice things. Nice for me, I love nice perfumes and nice glasses. Honey, get into it. Get into the glasses. Get into this. Came today, and I'll be launching a couple of more. Honey, VogueGlam.com. Thank me later. And that's really my pleasure, to be honest, as someone who usually lives in scrubs. Between jewelry, occasionally, maybe makeup, barely, if ever, it's usually perfume and glasses. And yes, and then occasionally here and there, I might go get a mani pedi. But self care is so much more than that. Self care also includes learning to say no, establishing and reinforcing boundaries, listening and paying attention to your body, knowing when you're tired, go rest, go sleep, take that time apart, time aside. Seeing a therapist, a counselor to address, unpack, heal from any internalized trauma, from any trauma, period. And I say every single one of us, I dare say, has been through some kind of trauma. If we haven't prior to 2020, then honey, like 2019, 2020, and these recent years has introduced us to trauma if we didn't know her from before. So it is so important that we do that self-work, that internal healing work, undoing our own internalized systems of oppression, our internalized racisms and internalized sexism and internalized ableism. That we're always doing that work. I'm always asking myself, hey, how is racism showing up in this interaction today? How is ableism showing up in this engagement today? How is sexism showing up in this encounter today? Because even if you are a member of the oppressed class, you're still capable of perpetuating that oppression or perpetuating that oppression if you've internalized it, which we all have because we swim in the waters, and you haven't done the healing work. So self-care is critical in terms of our ability to run this race, this marathon. That is the race of liberation. That is the work of anti-racism and anti-oppression. That is the work of justice and subsequently equity. And so these three keys are critical to that first step of the Opara solution system, which is the first step of mindset set shift, knowing who you are, knowing why you are, why you do what you do in this work. And so again, those three keys: know your history, your lineage, and ground yourself in it, right? Your own personal history and the wider history around your, revolving your context, right? Number two, understanding that you got to know your community and lean into them. And number three, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Take care of yourself. And so I hope that those keys help you, you out there, you anti-racist leader, you anti-oppression transformative leader, you organizational institution that is also seeking to lead in this space, because you know that it absolutely supports your bottom line. If you want to learn more and how we work people through this system, the 7 step, this is a whole seven step system, and begin to engage in your own journey of transformation, feel free to reach me. You can DM me, certainly on Twitter at INNODIM, at INNODIM, which is the same tag for Instagram as well. You can also email me at ijiomanodimopara@gmail.com. Ijiomanodimopara, one word, all my names together, at gmail.com. And I will be so happy to introduce you to a member of our team, so that we can go ahead and get you started on your journey of transformation and transforming yourself. So thank you so much for joining me. All right, we are back. I sincerely apologize for that interruption, and that was as a result of being a novice at this. Let me be honest and transparent with you. I am not an expert at this at all, and I am learning as I go along. And one of the things I'm going to go ahead and practice, one of the things I preach, so to speak, and the second key, and that key right now is leaning on your community. And so, you listen out there, I consider you a community member. And I would say if you are great at tech and you can help us with our tech management and our video production and things of that nature, then please, 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 I am inviting you to reach out to me, and you will see that. There we go. Yes, you will see that my handle is right on the screen for you to reach out, and I will also add on my email address. And so let's see if it will let me do a double thing here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I was somehow able to make that happen unintentionally. And so this will be, and so you can see both my handles and email address. Okay. And so, yeah, feel free to reach out again for Opara solution, Opara speaks help with your work. If you are a leader in healthcare, public health, and medicine, with a passion for transforming your field in terms of building a community, a system that is um, that is anti-racist, and frankly, we help everyone in this field, regardless of if you are in medicine, healthcare, or public health, because we understand the intersectionality of the world, of society, of life, and that truly every there's a saying we have: the right hand washes the left hand washes the right hand, and so truly in any given field, okay, incorporate in government, etc., and we do work with members of these sectors as well, it impacts health and health outcomes. I mean, I can count the ways, of which they're endless. So, regardless of your institution or your field or your sector, if your passion and your raison d'être, your reason to be, is to be the change you want to see to the transformation of your organization, of your sector, of your field, of your discipline, of your profession, of wherever you are, from the grassroots to the grass top, to be anti-oppressive, to be anti-racist, to be pro-liberatory, then Opara Speaks is here to help you. From speaking to trainings to coaching and consulting, we walk you through the Opara Solutions pathway for success. So, with that in mind, I just want to again summarize with those three keys to the mindset shift, which is the step one of Opara Solutions, in order to bring about that change. And that is: know your history, know your why, know your community, lean in on them, identify and know them. And thirdly, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Take care of yourself in the full spectrum of self-care and self-compassion that exists, and we can talk about that in another Blackboard moment. What is self-compassion, and what are some examples, and how do you utilize and express it to your benefit as a leader in this space? Okay, so hey, thank you so much for taking the time to watch us. Again, remember to hit subscribe and notification. And if you are um, gifted in tech, in video production, things of that nature, and you want to help us to get it together. All right. From that standpoint, feel free to reach out to me. If you just want to talk, you have some questions, you have some comments, some feedback, feel free to reach out to me. DM me on Twitter or Instagram at INNODIM, or email me ijeomanodimopara@gmail.com. And, I am looking forward to learning from you as well as working with you as we go on this very imperfect journey. I embrace it. I accept it, and grow together. Okay. Have a wonderful, wonderful uh, day, morning, evening, afternoon, night, and I look forward to seeing you at the next Blackboard moment, as well as every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on our Anti-Racism in Medicine Action Roundtable, which will host both on YouTube and Twitter Space, and will soon be expanding to LinkedIn and likely Facebook. That's work in progress. So stay tuned. Blessings to you, love.